Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
And welcome to First Yahudin Messianic Temple here in Lake Placid, Florida. I am his servant, Maria Simpson, and welcome to this message today, which is I believe it's going to touch many lives because many people are going through what is called emotional abuse, mental abuse. And we're going to find out a lot about it. And I believe that if you or somebody you know are going through some type of emotional abuse, either yourself or somebody else, I believe that this message is not only for you, but I believe this message will help you really to get strength so you can be delivered, so you can feel... You can confront whatever you need to confront and move on in your life. From me studying this topic of emotional abuse, it is unbelievable how many people today are going through this, and a lot of people really don't know a lot about emotional abuse. So I believe and I hope that maybe this will bring you some healing. The message today is titled Emotional Abuse. Is it possible that you are being abused and not even know it? See, we know about sexual abuse. We know about physical abuse. But how much do you really know about emotional abuse? Now, emotional abuse is an abuser really that controls and manipulates your life. And how he or she does this is really controlling your mind. You become sort of like a puppet in this person's hands. The person is the puppeteer and you become a puppet. Now, emotional abuse, there's really not a lot of talk about the Bible, about emotional abuse. But there is a person in the Bible that it talks about her, which is her, is talking about Jezebel. People that are abusers really have what is called in the Bible a spirit of Jezebel. And in today's world, in today's wording in modern times, it is called either a narcissist, but it's even now they call it even something different. They call it gaslighting. Gaslighting, like gas and lighting.
Wow.
Okay? So, because what happens is, as human beings, we love to change the wording. But really, these abusers are narcissists. They are gaslighters and they are abusers. And they love to control and manipulate people. Now, is it possible that you are being abused and not even know it? I would say so. Now, why am I bringing this topic? The reason I'm bringing this topic because I too at one time was a victim of abuse. See, when we think about abuse, especially women, automatically we think of a man, a husband, a spouse. But see, an abuser can be many people. It can be a spouse, it can be a child, it can be a mother, it can be a father, it can be a friend, it can be your brother, it can be a co-worker. So really, it can be anybody. It's not just one gender or one category of us. No, it can be a lot of people. Now, the thing that you need to remember is that it's important to remember that it's absolutely not your fault. Abusers are expert at manipulators, and they're manipulators with a knack for getting you to believe that the way you are being treated is your fault. These people know that everyone has insecurities, and they use insecurities against you because they know what is your weakness. If you are hearing this message, chances are you or someone you love is emotionally in an emotionally abusive relationship. Your abuser may be your spouse, your boss, your brother, your sister, a friend, including your mother or your father.
Wow.
You might try to ignore it. You might try to deny it and fix it. Perhaps you have even tried to accept it, but it has not worked. Are you willing to do what it takes to break the cycle of abuse in your life? Let me ask you that question again. Are you willing to do what it takes to break the cycle of abuse in your life? If you say maybe, okay. If you say no, then you will continue in that abusive relationship. If you say yes, then this message is going to help you a lot. Now, emotional abuse is a common technique of abusers, dictators, narcissists, cult leaders. It is done slowly so the victim does not realize how much they have been brainwashed. This is exactly what an abuser does. An abuser brainwashes you to believe what he or she is saying because they're manipulating your life. And it comes to a point because this person that's doing this to your life, you will never in your mind will never think that your mother or your father or your spouse or somebody you really love is going to do this to you. Because you look up to them. These people have raised you. You never, well, I love my mother. I love my father. I love my children. You know what? This is not about what you love. See, you love them. But the manipulator and the abuser does not love you.
That's what the problem comes in.
No matter how you put it, you love them. You care for them. And you do whatever it takes so they can accept you. But in reality, they don't love you the same way. What is a narcissist? A narcissist, a dictator, an abuser, a cult leader. These are people, they have personality disorder. They're arrogant, they're self-centered, they're manipulative, and they're demanding. Do you know anybody like this in your life?
Boy, every time it doesn't.
These narcissistic people or personality disorder, one of several types of personality disorder, is called a mental condition in which people have an inflated sense of their own importance. Look at this, a deep need for exercise to excessive attention and admiration. These people want to be the center of attraction. They want to be the center of everything that you are doing. They don't like your happiness. They really don't. And when you are happy, they try to distort you or they try to destroy the happiness that you like. Why is that? Because these people are not happy. These people come from broken homes. These people come from because they too at one time were abused or victims of abuse from an abuser. Not only do they want the attention and the admiration, troubled relationship, and lack of empathies for others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence lies a fragile self-esteem that is vulnerable to the slightest criticism. Abusers do not like when you criticize them. Abusers don't like when you have caught to their game. Abusers really are very, not only their self-esteem is very low, but these people like to use weak people, weak minds. And like I said, it can be anybody. Now, would you ever think that your mother or your father will be a narcissist? We never say, of course not. But in reality, there's a lot of mothers and fathers who are narcissistic, who are abusers of their children. And what these mothers and fathers do, since they were not happy, they couldn't fulfill their life when they were young, what they do is they try to mimic the life they never had in their children. So they want to, they want to manipulate. They want to control. They are called control freaks. Because you will give what you have. A narcissistic, a gaslighter, an abuser, a dictator will never ever want your happiness. And anything that makes you happy, it really bothers. It bothers, and I'm going to say this, it bothers the hell out of them. You know why? Because they did the same thing as they were growing up. Somebody, their parents, somebody in their lives. And they never got treated for it. So what happens is this anger started building up. And now, see, you give what you have. And maybe some of you don't understand this, but in the Bible, there are generational curses. And what happens is with these narcissistic, it goes from one generation to the other until one generation opens the mind and understand they see the big picture. And they understand what is happening in their life. Each and every one of you is an individual, and each and every one of you is a special breed, a special bird, a different person. You are unique. And see, these narcissistic people, these abusers, they don't like when you are yourself because they are not themselves. And what happens is they get so angry, and an abuser's mental abuser, because it starts with your mind. Then they become violent, and sometimes they'll use sexual abuse and physical abuse and spiritual abuse. And what happens is, and my husband told me this morning, is that these people get stuck in a cycle, like they cannot get out. They get stuck in time. You get stuck in time, and it's like you really want to help this person that you love so much. And you have tried, and you have tried, and you have tried. But it doesn't work. And this especially let me tell you, this is why a lot of marriages, especially husbands, they manipulate and they really control their wives and you know what? In abusive ways. But not only a husband. Mothers, a lot to do with this too. Mothers that are controlling. Mothers that are manipulated, mothers that want their boys to be a mama's boys. Mama's boys are raised in this type of environment. And when you are controlled by a mother that is a narcissist, you will never, no matter who you are, unless you wake up at where you're at, you will never be happy, not even with a relationship you have. And this type of mother is a very selfish mother. See, a mother only wants the best for her children. But a woman that has had children, that's not a mother. That is a woman. That is a woman pretending to be a mother. And that type of woman, which really she thinks she's a mother, she pretends in front of everybody that she is the best mother there is. She's the mother of the year. She's the mommy dearest kind of deal. And she's none of the above. Behind this type of mother, which is a woman, she really neglects her children, controls her children, manipulates her children, doesn't care about her children, even though she's there. Because she has never been happy. She's never been happy with her husband. She has come also from an abusive, probably family. Because there's a difference between being a real mother and a woman that just had children. It's totally different. Mothers are not selfish. A mother that does this type of thing is a selfish mother. In my book, I don't consider her a mother. I consider her a woman 100%, and she cares less about her children, even though she's at home. Because really what actually, let me tell you, why do I speak this way? Because I too was abused. I too was mentally abused. And see, the problem with victims of abuse, they a lot of times they don't want to talk because this is people that you love, that you're so embarrassed to talk about it. But see, if you don't talk about it, if you don't, see, you cannot be in denial. If you're in denial, you will never get free.
You won't develop.
You're not going to develop. You're not going to live the life that the Most High gave you. Your life does not belong to your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. It doesn't belong to your spouse. It belongs to you.
Stuck on time.
This is your life. This is not anybody's life. But what happens is, as we grow up in an abusive relationship, we become so consumed with what we hear that we believe even though we know. We believe and we become puppets. They do with our life whatever that they feel like doing, until you wake up and you smell the cappuccino. You wake up and you smell the roses. You wake up and you smell life. You wake up. What happens is, that means that your pineal gland opens up. Even in religion, a lot of times they manipulate through words. I personally don't believe in religion. And I don't believe in legalism. I am who I am. He has made me that way. And you know what? My husband is who he is, and Elohim has made him this way. We respect each other. There's got to be respect in a relationship, because if there's no respect, there's no love. If I love my husband, how can I abuse him or he abuse me? How can I say bad words to him and bad words to... That is not respect. That is that they're walking above you. They're walking like you have become a rug. I am not a rug. I am the head. I am not the tail. I am from above. I am not from beneath. I am who I am because I am lives in me. And if I am lives in me, greater is he that is in me than that nut, than that idiot. Idiot that's coming against me. Abusers are idiots, self-centered. Abusers need help, but they don't want to get help because they have so much pride that they think they're the last Coca-Cola in the desert. And the thing about abusers, they always go where weak people are. Weak minds, weak people. And what better to do it in a spouse or in children?
Wow.
An abuser, narcissistic, gaslighting is a mental condition in which people think that what they're doing to you, to the victim, is something good. let me tell you where these people do the most harm. The narcissistic personality disorder causes problems in many areas of life. They cause problems in relationships. If you are happy, they will make you miserable.
Wow.
If you love to dance, they're going to sit you down.
But it's so true.
If you like to sing, they're going to shut your mouth up.
So true.
If you are skinny, they want you fat. If you are fat, they want you skinny. If you got green eyes, they want you to have brown eyes. If you got curly hair, they want you to have straight hair.
They're never satisfied.
If you're a boy, they want you to be a girl. And if you're a girl, they want you to be a boy.
They're never satisfied.
And whatever makes you happy, it is wrong because they're wrong. Let me tell you, they are wrong. This person will never make you happy, but the abuser, will make you super happy. And a lot of times, this comes from spouses and parents.
So true.
Are you with me?
Yes. So true. Very true.
They bring disorder and they cause problems at work,
Oh, yeah.
school,
Yeah.
financial affairs.
Yes.
People with narcissistic personality disorder may be generally unhappy. In other words, they're constantly constipated and disappointed when they are not giving special favors. Do you know anybody like this? We all do. Or admiration, they believe they deserve. These people believe that they deserve this admiration. They find their relationship unfulfilling. They're always complaining about the relationship they have. And others may not enjoy being around them. Let me tell you, we are in the year 2019. This is my resolution for the new year, and I really mean this. Even though I need to lose weight, because I really need to lose weight. Not because of anything, for my health reasons. But this is my resolution for the new year. I don't want any vacuum cleaner people in my life.
No erasers.
No erasers in my life. And what are vacuum cleaner people? Narcissistic people. Abusers people. People that take away from my life.
They suck.
They gotta go. And let me tell you, I refuse to have anybody that's gonna suck the living life out of me ever again.
Amen to that.
Leeches has to go. Abusers have to go.
That's right.
And you know why? Because my life is my life. It is nobody's life.
Yeah.
I smile when I smile. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. Yeshua tells me, Maria, you belong to me. So you know what? I sing wherever I go. I smile wherever I go. And if you don't like it, get out of my sight.
Because I'm coming through.
Because you have to have an attitude today. You need to have an attitude to really be happy and take back what belongs to you. This is the year 2019. You need to go, you need to take back what belongs to you, because many people have stolen your life, has stolen your happiness, has stolen your joy, has stolen your love, has stolen your relationship, has stolen. And you know what? You're depending on somebody that doesn't give a damn about you.
Wow.
You're crying after that person. You can't let that person go. Why? I let go of my mother. I let go of my sisters. I let go of a lot of people that abuse my relationship. And right now, my sister's hearing me. And you know what? This is reality. Doesn't mean that I don't love my mother. And I don't love my sisters. But you know what? Enough. Enough.
But it's true.
Do you think they know what they're doing? Or
They think they know what they're doing, but yeah. Watch this. Yes. Okay.
they know they're controlling?
She's saying, do they know they're controlling? They know they're controlling. Oh, yes. Yes.
So they know the harm they're doing.
Do they know they're harming you? Yes and no. Do they know they're harming you? Yes and no. A lot of abusers and a lot of narcissistic people do not know what they're doing. Until a point. Because they too were controlled by a narcissist at one time. So they learned what they were taught, especially at home. Everything starts at home. At home. At home. It's not outside. It's at home. And then when you confront a narcissistic, when you confront them that you already know how they and you say, well, this is happening, blah, blah, blah. They don't know what to tell you. You know the only thing they say, you're right. You're right. Because now you got the upper hand. Now you found out how they work, how they operate.
They're possessed, bottom line.
And believe me, my husband just said it.
They're possessed.
These people are possessed.
If something happened along the way.
These people are possessed.
Something happened.
Narcissistic people are possessed with the spirit of Jezebel. Spirit of control. Believe it or not. Some of you might not believe it. Well, that's okay. But that's what it is. Because now they changed the wording. The wording. Healing the emotional abuse. The reason you or someone you know are being bullied is never anything to do with you. But everything has to do with the person who is bullying you, who has issues, who's got problems they are not dealing with. Let me tell you how these narcissistic spirit of Jezebel work. These narcissistic abusers use emotionally abuse to target their victims.
Wow.
They target their victims.
Wow.
And these victims would never live the life that Elohim gave them to be. It is abusive power. It is they're control freaks. Because they are freaks.
Yeah.
Mental abuse is being consumed by your own thoughts. 1/4 of all the adults report having been physically abused as children from mental abuse.
Wow.
If this is somebody, I'm gonna give you what it looks like, what an abuser's, how he thinks. I'm gonna give you 21 and tell me if this is somebody that sounds like in your life or somebody you know that is abuser. Number 1, psychologically, abuse can look like this because it comes in many forms. 1, humiliating and embarrassing you.
Yeah. Bingo.
2, constantly putting you down.
Bingo.
3, hyper criticism.
3,
4, refusing to communicate with you.
4,
5, ignoring and excluding you. 6, extramarital affairs. They love to have extramarital affairs. 7, provocative behavior with opposite sex. 8, use of sarcasm and unpleasant tone of voice. 9, unreasonable jealousy. 10, extreme moodiness. 11, mean jokes or constantly make fun of you. 12, saying I love you, but. They say they love you, but there's always a but. And I'm not talking about your rear end. But. 13, saying things like, if you don't blank, I will blank. 14, domination and control. 15, withdraw from affection. They will not give you affection. They will not show you affection. 16, guilt trip. They put guilt trips on you. 17, making everything your fault. 18, isolating you from friends and family. This is their number one. This is their culprit
Target.
number one.
Their target, number one target.
This is their target number one. It's isolating you from families and from friends.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's their goal. That's their target. That's their dream. And that is why they want to control you and manipulate you. And you become a puppet. 19. They use money to control. 20. Constant calling and texting when you are not with him or her. And 21. Threatening to commit suicide if you leave. Honey, if you want to commit suicide, go right ahead. Don't let anyone or someone who doesn't know your value tell you how much you are worth. At any given moment, you have the power to say, this is not how my story is going to end. You were not born with that abuser. You will not die with that abuser. And the sad thing that abusers will make us victim, and if we're not careful, we can abuse even our children, even people we love. That's why there's got to be healing, and there's got to be deliverance. I am living proof that no matter what goes in life, we all have the strength to get through it and pass it. If we allowed ourselves to, you deserve good things. You deserve happiness. You deserve tranquility. You deserve shalom, peace. You deserve prosperity. You deserve abundance. And especially, you deserve to be loved, to be careful. You deserve this. Learn to value who you are. I am here to tell you that it is almost terrifyingly easy to turn someone into a psychological jelly. I know that because I have experienced it myself. Narcissistic, gaslighting, emotional abuser is incredibly proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, abuse tactic that you won't even notice is happening until you take a step back and look at your situation. And the saddest thing is that it's the person that you love the most, that is closest to you. Today I just want you to hear, and you can write this down in the Bible. Make Jeremiah 29:11 your motto.
29:11.
Let's go there for a second. Look at Jeremiah 29:11. When you were born, the Most High had plans for you. It was not just for you to be born and you became an adult and you had children. He has really great plans for you. And it says in Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11.
Amen.
And it says, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says Yahweh. Thoughts of peace and not evil, to give you an expected end. In other words, I know the plans that I have for you, declares Yahweh. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope of a future. And this is for all the victims out there. When someone constantly puts you down, leaves you feeling like you cannot do anything right, or makes you feel worthless and bad about yourself in general, just know you didn't do nothing wrong. And that is not love, what this person is doing to your life. It's called emotional abuse. And another thing that emotional abusers, narcissists, gaslighters, what they have is, in front of you, they're one thing, and in back of you, they're tearing you apart. They will never defend you when you're not there. They will always talk about you. They will say mean things about you, things that make you happy. And this is reality. And you constantly are putting this person high above because you love this person, correct? But the sad thing is this person doesn't love you the same way. You could either stay the way you are, or you say, you know what? Get professional help, either through a coach, either through a counselor, either through a psychologist. And I'm telling you, your life will change. If you walk away from a toxic, negative, abusive, one-sided, dead-ended, low vibrational relationship or friendship, you won. Don't allow someone to treat you poorly just because you love them or feel sorry for them. Did you know that feeling sorry for somebody is worse than when you love somebody? Because feeling sorry for somebody, even though they abuse you, you will not let them go. But when you love somebody and they abuse you, you let them go. And you need to know the difference between one and the other.
Could you repeat that, please?
I'm sorry?
Could you repeat that?
Because what?
Repeat that.
Repeat that, please.
Yes.
Repeat it.
Repeat it, yes. Now, go to repeat it again?
Yes.
Okay. Don't allow someone to treat you poorly just because you love them or feel sorry for them. Feeling sorry for somebody is worse than loving somebody. You will leave a person that you love, but you will never leave somebody you feel sorry for.
Wow.
And most of these people that you feel sorry for, those people are the same people that are abusing you. Because they have worked in your mind. They have manipulated your mind. And then you feel that without them you cannot live. Who told you this? You cannot live without Yahweh. You cannot live without Him. You cannot live. Because the day you die, they're not going with you. Take a stand on what you believe in. Take a stand on who you are. Take a stand, hallelujah, because you are great. You are a great person. You deserve love. You deserve happiness. And if somebody is not given to you, why do you stick around? Why are you sticking around? Psalms 34:18. Look at what it says in Psalms 34:18. Yahweh is near to those who have a broken heart. Victims have broken hearts. They're in pain. And you don't have to be a victim all your life. Don't do the same thing that the abuser did. Yahweh is near to those who have a broken heart and save those who have a crushed spirit.
That's there.
Manipulators tell you what they think that you're thinking.
They're slick.
They tell you what you should do in your life, how you should sleep, what kind of clothes you should wear, what colors you should use. They even want to control the job that you're in. They want to control they even want to control the kind of coffee or food or the way you treat your grandchildren. And because they are this is the way. See, the Bible says that your worst enemy are your own family. How sad is that? Isn't that sad?
It is sad.
That you come to a certain age, I'm 59 years old, you come to a certain age and you realize that your enemies are now, your enemies is in your own family.
Whoa. That's messed up.
Family that you thought, these people that you grew up with, they have become your family. How is that? And then you start blaming the devil. No, the devil's in your own family. The devil and the devil. The broken in a heart, a broken heart and a crushed in spirit are those who have been broken down and crushed by sorrow and suffering. He, Yahweh, is near to such people. He dwells with them. He looks to them. He revives their heart. He heals them and he saves them. In Job chapter 5 verse 18, Job says, for he wounds, Yahweh wounds, but he also binds. He strikes, but his hands also heal. Psalms 107:20. He sent forth his word and healed them. He rescued them from the pit. Two things that are needed from a victim to overcome an abuser. To speak forth what they want and to believe in their mind who they are. And take their life back. The number one things abusers, they enjoy wounding your spirit. Abusers, what they wound is your soul. They wound your spirit. This is why this is a spirit of Jezebel. For those that don't know. Why? Because they are victims. They were victims once too. When your spirit is crushed, who can bear it?
But you talking spiritual.
I'm talking spiritual, yes.
Because people would say, well, I'm going to hate my mom now. Because you know what? Maria told me, or Maria was speaking, that she's a narcissist. And everything she described is my mom. So I'm going to hate her. Well, see, that you have to understand that it's not your mom. It's what's controlling her.
Okay.
So people, so people cannot be going around and say, well, I hate my mom. Well, because she's a narcissist. Well,
okay.
It's not about your mother. It's about what's controlling her that is making her to act the way she's acting.
My husband brought a good point, and I'm glad he brought it up. That it's not that you hating the person that is abuser. An abuser, because abuser really comes from a spirit that is abusing, that it really has gone from one generation to the next.
So we're talking spiritual.
Because the Bible says that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the dark world of this place, of this world. Okay. Anger, jealousy, envy, hate, not having joy. What happens is when you constantly live this way, because maybe something that happened in your life, you will grow up with this feeling, and you want others to feel the same way. When you see an abuser, it's not that person that really is abusing. That person really is a spiritual being that's inside of them, and really what it is the spirit of Jezebel.
Well, you want to believe it or not, that's what it is.
The enemy, we have an enemy. Whether some believe or not, we have an enemy, and the enemy really uses your family, uses people that you love to come against you. So these people, see, spirits, whether angels or the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, whether Yeshua, whether demons, they need a body.
Yes.
And when they possess a body, they bring good things or they bring bad things. And it's all to destroy your spirit. It's all to destroy your soul. It's to destroy, to make you, to really destroy, annihilate you.
Yeah.
Because this is the way the enemy works. Yeshua said, I did not come to bring shalom. I came to bring division. I came to bring the mother against the daughter. And this is talking about, things that we were brought up in, traditionals. What is the number one thing that every human being needs? It's not money.
Love.
It's love. Abusers cannot give you love Because abusers, they don't even know what they're doing. Because they're possessed. They need healing, they need help, and they need deliverance. And you cannot do it. They have to want to have it. If you want to be healed, you need to surrender yourself completely to El Shaddai. Because he is our creator. The Bible tells us how Elohim heals, restores, and gives life even to those who feels lost and hopeless inside. He will be there to help strengthen you and to raise you up. Have you been abused in any way? I will say that 99.9.5% of human beings have. Are you in an abusive relationship right now? If you answer yes or no, and if you answer yes, it means it's true. If you answer no, you're probably lying. That means that you're not ready to get delivered. You're not ready to be healed. Because you're still covering the sun with your finger. Yahweh is looking for you to revive your heart, to heal you, to save you. He is ready to hear and to help. Yahweh knows that happiness makes you smile. Sorrow can crush you. For whoever touches you touches the apple of his eyes. When people are happy, they smile. But when they are sad, they are depressed. And that's another spirit. That's another spiritual depression. I'm almost done. Let me tell you, emotional abuse can take forms including verbal abuse, threats, insults, non-verbal rejection, neglect, isolation. When these behaviors are recurring, they become a pattern of emotional abuse. The most common victims of emotional abuse is a spouse, a child, a friend, or a parent who loves the abuser and is unwilling to walk away from the situation. I can love the abuser, but I can walk away. I have learned to walk away, and it has been very hard for me. Very hard for me. Because these are people that brought me up. These are people. And I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying this. But you know what? I have done a lot of crying. I have asked a lot of whys. I have said I don't understand. But I have learned to let it go.
Yeah, you have to let it go.
My father died 6 years ago. And I didn't go with my father. I have learned to let it go. Either you change to better my life, or I don't want you. That sounds harsh, doesn't it? But it's reality. You know why? The same thing I said not too long ago. You have not been in my shoes, and I haven't been in yours. And I'm here to help you. Now, are you ready to be helped? Stop letting that person control your life. You're not a puppet. Get rid of that person. What has this person done in your life? And let me tell you, they sound so nice that it's hard to tell.
Convincing.
They sound very convincing. And the saddest thing, they love talking about other people.
Convincing.
People that are happy. People that are walking in the Most High.
Convincing.
Because they're a manipulator and they want to be in control. Warning, if you are in an abusive relationship, I urge you to get out and get professional help if needed. Often the first step is leaving the abusers, is obtaining counseling, coaching, going to a psychologist, just to rebuild your self-esteem so that you can leave. I particularly want you to know that listen very carefully. I particularly want you to know that you may love this person, but they do not love you. Or respect you. In reality, excuse me for saying this, they don't give a damn about you. Because if they did, they wouldn't do this. I assure you that in time you will get over this person if you break it off. You will be making the right decision looking back. Instead of always trying to fix things, realize you deserve better. Stop waiting for change, and make the change. You want that person to change, and that person is not going to change because the one that needs to change is you. If you feel like you deserve better, it is because you do. Never settle for less than you deserve. You may feel weak, but within you, there is strength to live. Within you is the strength to overcome and achieve that which you deserve. How do I know this? Because I've done this. Abusers of insecure people who usually abuse behind closed doors. Abusers deny their actions. Abusers blame the victim. And violence is preceded by verbal abuse. Abusers damages your self-esteem. The abuser needs to be right and in control. The abuser is possessive and may try to isolate their victim from friends and families.
Wow.
The abuser is hypersensitive and may react in a rage. They might get angry very fast. A gun in the house increases the risk of homicide by 500%. 2/3 of domestic violence perpetrator have been drinking. 1/3 of victims have been drinking and using drug abuse. Let me tell you one man in the Bible that was a narcissist and used verbal mistreatment to his son Jonathan. King Saul. You can find this in 1 Samuel chapter 30 verse 30. And look at what he said to his son. Because his son was a friend of David.
Yeah.
Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan and said to him,
What was the verse?
1 Samuel 33.
Verse.
he said, you son of a perverse, rebellious woman. Do I not know that you have chosen the son of Jesse, which was David, King David, to your own shame, and to shame your mother's nakedness? Anybody that abuses you is not walking with God. Anybody abusing you is walking with the devil. Sometimes we refuse to see how bad something is until it completely destroys us. Never let someone who contributes so little to the relationship control so much of it. If a man or a woman in your life makes you lose your family, lose your friends, lose your confidence, lose your self-esteem, then you need to lose him or her out of your life. Just because someone desires you does not mean they value you. Any relationship plagued by emotional abuse will eventually have to choose one of these three things. Number one, the abuser admits faults, sees his behavior as harmful, and changes. 2, the abused person walks away, at least temporarily. Or 3, the abuse is allowed to continue indefinitely to harm both parties. And I put a big wow in this one phrase that I'm going to tell you. This really, wow. People who fail to get their needs for affection and admiration met by their own parents will often use their children, friends, and their major source of narcissist gratification. In other words, These abusers
Okay.
who were not happy,
Yeah.
they didn't fulfill their lives,
Yeah.
will fulfill their life with their children.
Okay. So what they didn't do, they were embedded in you.
Yes.
So they
What
can
if,
see.
yes. What has been embedded in the abuser, they will abuse and they will use their children to live the life they never lived. And what they're going to do with their children, victims, and they will abuse their children too.
So they will accomplish their dreams through them.
These abusers will accomplish their dreams through their children and do with them whatever they want. This is where we get mama's boys. A mama's boy is a son that the mother will always see that no matter what woman he's with, that's not enough. And the only thing that this kind of mother needs to do, she needs to get married with her son and have sex with him. Because this is a very selfish mother. So what happens with mothers and good mothers, they will control their children so bad that when these children grow up, they don't want nothing to do with their mothers. And they don't even know why. It's because that's the way you were treated. Now you're going to treat your children the same way because you think that's the right way.
That's a lot.
That's a lot to eat.
Yeah, yeah.
And what happens is,
That guy's
a lot of children, they grow up, they be adults. They don't know, and they keep on being abused by their parents. They do the same until one of them, somewhere along the way, one generation says, "This got to stop. I stop it right now." And then most parents say, "I don't understand. I'm the mother. How come they don't call me?" Well, they don't call you because you are narcissistic mother and father. You're good. I love you, but you treated me real bad. You made me live the way you wanted to live. Do you think this is right?
Nope.
And guess what? Some of you are doing this with your children. Emotional abuse has always been a promoting anxiety, depression, and can even trigger nervous breakdowns. The whole point is to make you feel like you're constantly less than you, to make you fall into line with that of narcissistic abuser. In other words, the narcissistic abuser wants to take you to a breakdown the way he feels, he wants to make you feel. It can turn you into a shell of a former self. You know. Narcissistic don't change because they don't want to change. They want to keep you using you and abusing you because it gets them the attention they so desperately crave. You need to understand and foremost, you are the most awesome and amazing individual. And you are worth so much, even if an abuser refuses to see it. See, some of you are kind of uneasy right now because I'm stepping on your toes. Because some of you are doing what your parents did to you, to your children. And whatever you sow, you will get back. Whatever you sow, you will reap. Without knowing it. Without knowing it. Mental abuse, gaslighting, narcissistic, is one of those abuse tactics that loses a lot of power once you realize what is happening. Once you do, it is very easy to see how it works. You see how the abuser is working. Go with your gut feeling. Sometimes you can very well be overacting because nobody's perfect, and sometimes it happens. But more than often than not, when someone is trying to gaslight, mental abuse you know what's happening if your guts Your gut's telling you something is wrong. Stop sacrificing for this person who is controlling your life. Don't you think you have sacrificed enough?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
10 things. This is me. And I hope this helps you. These are 10 New Year's resolution for abuse survivors. This is me, and I hope you come along with me. 1, I will listen to my intuition more often. 2, I will not say yes when I really want to say no. 3, I won't accept responsibility for other people's problems. 4, I will read less about narcissism and more about boundaries. You need to set boundaries in your life because a lot of you don't have boundaries. And these people come in your door as many times as they feel like. As a matter of fact, they even go into your house and tell you what picture should go here, how your husband should talk, what kind of food you should make,
That's true.
what colors you should use, how you should wear your hair, what kind of hairdresser you should have, who should be your friends. 5, I will be less moved by the opinions of others. 6, I will put myself first more often. 7, if it does not feed my soul, I will not let it go. 8, I won't give people the benefit of the doubt when their character is unclear or not known to me. Anytime you want to do something in life, including your own life, you got to piss off a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And if you don't, then you are a victim and you are a person that probably somebody's manipulating your life and you could still go along with that. And that's okay. But not me. Because my life is mine. My life doesn't belong to anybody. 9, I will rid myself of myself of all self-limited beliefs. 10, I will maintain no or low contact. No contact with the abuser or low contact with the narcissistic abuser and people. Principle number 1. You need to be honest about the relationship. Because if you deny what's happening, then you're never going to leave that. You're going to live like that until the day you die. Denial is a hallmark of abuse. Invite the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, to reveal the reality about potentially abusive relationship. Admit that you are being abused and recognize the damage it has done. 2, seek professional help and guidance. There is no one-size-fits-all prescription for healing. 3, principle number 3, set appropriate boundaries. You need to set boundaries for 2019. Set boundaries. When you need to boundaries, when to say yes, when to say no, to take control of your life. This is my life and it's not your life. You want me to cut my hair short? Who told you that? Am I asking you the question? I didn't ask you the question. Why are you telling me that? You want me to eat what? You want me to eat steak when really I want to eat spinach? Who to ask you that? Get rid of people that control your life, control your mind. Who told you that you cannot live without this person? Was that person next to you when you were born? The only person that were there was the doctor, the nurses, and your mom. And by the way, when you were born from your mother, you came out of your mother. You didn't stay inside of her. So why is still the umbilical cord attached to your mother or to these people that are abusing you? Principle number 4. Find and maintain a healthy relationship. It is critical to seek support from friends, family, and ideally, sometimes, because sometimes church is out of hand. The church. A good church. Principle number 5. Soak in Elohim's presence and truth. In Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, spend time in the word, prayer, worship, fellowship. It is possible that because you are damaged emotionally, you are unable to spend long periods of time in prayer and study. That's all right. Do what you can and trust Elohim with the rest. Principle number 6. And please, this is very important. Forgive. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is not denying or excusing the damage caused by the abuse. We forgive because Elohim forgave us. When we forgive, we allow Elohim to heal us. Forgiveness is a choice, not a feeling. Forgive your abuser and yourself if necessary. Elohim will deal with everything else. And remember this, and with this I leave. I know the plans I have for you, declares Yahweh. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope for the future. Until next time, Shavua Tov, Shabbat Shalom from Yahudin.